So first,
Absolutely.
and I was
Let's dig it all up.
oh, no.
True.
You'll never guess.
So, sidebar. Yes.
And also, I feel like I shouldn't have to remember everything.
I know.
Actually, I have to talk about this.
3, 2, 1.
Hi, everyone. I'm Alicia, and this is also a podcast. I have a very special guest with us here today. Before I get into it, check us out on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Patreon. All the links are in our description. And please be sure to rate, review, and subscribe. Okay, so today I have with us the only person I know that knows more reality TV than Meredith and I combined. She is not only the biggest fan of the podcast, but my personal biggest fan, which I love. She used to listen to the podcast while we worked together and then make eye contact with me. Please welcome my very close and personal friend, Lainee. Lainee, I'm so happy. It feels like Inception because you're always listening to me and texting me about it.
I know, and we've talked about doing this. You were like, if I ever need a guest, I'm just going to call you.
If I ever need someone to step in. And thank God I'm catching you before you have a child to take care of, because what will we do then? Lainee's super pregnant, to everyone who doesn't know. So pregnant.
Very.
No offense. Okay, so Lainee, I'm going to throw you a softball, and then we're just going to get into it, because I know we could talk for hours, and I obviously can't do that to everyone. We have to cap this somewhere. You, as I said, know reality TV way better than anyone I've ever met. What was your gateway drug intro show into reality TV? Do you remember?
Probably Survivor season 1 when I was 5.
My God, you had no parental controls.
We watched it as a family.
Oh, like, actually, that's fine.
Yeah, we watched it as a family, and I was really into it. Like, I made my husband watch it. Like, I think like last
not
year,
when
the
you
first
were 5.
season.
Not
when I was 5, and he was like in middle school or high school at that point. Yeah, it was Survivor. I was just obsessed with Richard Hatch as a child. I really thought it was funny that he just walked around naked on this island and made everyone uncomfortable.
Nice, Lainee, nice. Nice.
No, I love a controversial figure. And especially that season just still is ingrained in my brain with Sue's speech at the end when she's like, there's 2 things on this island, snakes and rats. You have Richard the snake and Kelly the rat.
God.
I'll never get over that like Midwestern trucker woman just like ripping the 2 of them in.
And then from there, were you mostly a Survivor girl, or like what happened, girl? Where did you go from there?
I watched like the first 8 seasons of Survivor and then I fell off. But the year after CBS did Survivor, they did Big Brother. And my mom was like, well, we love Survivor, so let's watch Big Brother. So I've been watching Big Brother every single season since the very beginning.
Which one do you like better, Big Brother or Survivor? Do you have one?
Big Brother.
Okay.
Because Survivor I stopped watching. I forget why we stopped watching. I don't know. I was a small child. And then Big Brother I just like kept up with. And for the longest time I like wanted to apply to it. And then I was like, that would be terrible for my mental health. Once my frontal lobe fully developed, I was like, that's not a good idea for me to ever do.
Do you have a favorite Big Brother season?
Probably season, what was it? It's either 11 or 13. My brain always gets mixed up. I used to be able to name all the winners in order.
I know, you have such a weird brain.
I know. The Brigade season, mainly because Brittany is my absolute favorite, and I still will watch like the compilation videos of her confessionals.
TikTok's biggest fan, just watching Brittany compilation videos.
I love it. I like when they're all making fun of Rachel and they like put her hair extensions in and just like rip into her. Yeah, that was definitely season 11. Just, Big Brother from the beginning. The recent seasons I don't love as much, but I'm never gonna stop watching. I even watched when they did the terrible online one.
Oh my God. A real fan. I came in like season, what was level 6? Was that 20 with Tyler and Casey?
That was like 1920.
That was when I met Meredith and she was like, watch the show. And I was like, okay. And then that's where I got into Big Brother. And then T-God for Paramount, who then put all the seasons so I could go back and watch a ton. Okay, so I was thinking about this because when I first texted you and I was like, figure out your intro show to reality TV, you were like, what the fuck? What do you mean? I thought about mine. Mine, I think, was Amazing Race. Did you
I
ever
also
watch
watched
that?
that.
That was also part of that CBS. But my mom, when we watched Amazing Race as a family, but my mom wouldn't let me watch Survivor or Big Brother because she said it was raunchy.
Yeah,
And
no,
I think
there was no rules in my house. I watched Showgirls when I was like 10.
I think my mom thought like the Amazing Race, she was showing us the world.
The world.
And she's like, it's so important to learn to travel. And like, why would we just watch these idiots be naked on an island or like these other idiots trapped in a house together? She wanted us to travel.
Probably the smarter parenting decision.
My mom kept me from a lot.
Yeah, no, and then there was me who I've watched almost every reality TV show under the sun because I started at age 5.
No, truly, I'm somewhat jealous of you because I used to, so I'm the oldest of 3. So obviously in my house, we watched Disney Channel way past when I was supposed to be watching like Disney Channel and Nickelodeon, but we had 2 TVs. We live in a split level, so there's no basement, but I would go downstairs to the TV all the time. And I would have, which when we had like remote, like obviously, like a remote with cable, and I would put on Disney Channel and then I would switch it to MTV and then I would hit the back button. When I heard like steps coming, I would hit back and my mom would always be like, they're watching this same thing upstairs. I'd be like, I know, I like downstairs better though.
Like, I want to be alone.
Back, and I would watch Real World was my intro into like MTV. And I would watch Tila Tequila, which was terrible.
Oh, I love Tila Tequila.
That was my first intro into like lesbians too. I was like, because I had always seen gay like men, I feel like that was more normalized. And remember Degrassi, there was Marco the gay kid, and I was like, oh my God.
He was my favorite. Marco and Paige.
Boys are gay. I was like, obviously. But then I saw this show and I was like, so this is what lesbians do, I guess.
You're like, and bisexuals. I've never experienced any of
I never knew what a bisexual was until Tila Tequila. And now she's like some freaky Jesus weirdo.
Yeah, and then she
I think
dated
you
like
told
Casey
me that.
Johnson of like the Johnson and Johnson.
Oh,
family.
You're right. Did she have kids with him?
Casey was a woman.
Oh,
she passed away a few years ago. Had like drug problems. I don't know.
Oh my God, R.I.P. Okay.
Yeah.
When did Tila Tequila become straight then?
I don't know.
Because now she's anti-gay.
Yeah, so is Nicki Minaj.
That's so true. But like also MTV released the files of Tila Tequila. Let me rewatch the show.
Yeah. There's a lot of old MTV shows that I wish that they would put on.
Because they're problematic. There are even seasons of The Real World they won't release.
No, there's seasons of The Challenge that they won't put on, specifically the one where Kenny and
Johnny and...
It wasn't Johnny, because Johnny's still on the show.
Evan,
the hockey guy. Where they assaulted
the Canadian.
Tanya. Yeah.
Yes, they don't have that season. But like, we know what happened. Hello, I was watching that at 15. And I didn't get it at 15, but now I get it.
You know, it's terrible, but them making fun of Paula's eating disorder and Paula just crying hysterically.
Oh my God. The challenge was so problematic, but it was so... Should we just talk about our most problematic things that get a giggle from the challenge? No, it was terrible. I used to have such a crush on Kenny too. And he always made fun of fat people, even though he was fat at one point and he lost a ton of weight. He would probably berate me for being fat. But he has a gym in New York.
In New Jersey.
In New Jersey. Not even in New York.
He came up on my TikTok, some like chick on TikTok post like single and hot people, and she put Kenny on there like as if people don't know who Kenny Santucci is.
The first and last name. You're like, girl, I know his birth certificate.
I'm like, ma'am, I was watching him on TV in like 2005. It's 20 years later, and this man is still single.
Ma'am, he would have fat shamed me as a child, okay? I got it. Yeah, that I had such a crush on Kenny and Evan, honestly, and they were both terrible people. Evan, I mean, he assaulted Tanya, which we can never get over. He was less bad than Evan, though, I will say.
Yeah,
than
Evan
Kenny,
was bad.
Sorry. But Evan was bad.
Then there was Dunbar.
Dunbar was bad. All these men would have fat shamed us as children.
They were terrible. If you look back at old like seasons on how like Wes spoke to Casey in that like final that they did together during Fresh Meat.
God. In Fresh Meat when he was like, come on, you lazy piece of shit or whatever. Remember there was one girl too who was like, don't talk to her that way. But this was when we hated women specifically. So like women sticking up for women, there was no worse crime, especially on a reality TV show.
No, that's what I mean. Like, I love, and I loved, and I still love, like, Tina, Veronica, Rachel.
Oh,
But
I
like,
loved the Mean Girls, but they were
they were
such
so
bullies.
mean to Beth and Tanya, but like, it was also hilarious. Like, one of my favorite reality TV moments ever is just Beth, Tina, Beth, Tina, Beth, sock.
Remember when they threw all of Beth's shit in the pool?
Yeah.
And I remember watching that and being like, yeah, get her kind of
Like,
thing.
Beth's the worst.
As an adult, I am like
it's so mean.
I would sue. I would sue them for all their worth, which is only the $1,000 they win in the prize pot, because it's the 90s or the early 2000s.
So little.
And you were competing for maybe $5,000, and you had to split that amongst a team of 7.
And they just, and the challenges were just like so bad too. Like, because we still watch the challenge.
Okay, I gave up recently, I think.
Honestly, season 41 was really good. We binged it not too long ago. We had watched 40 while it was airing, and then 41, we just like, we had probably watched like 5 seasons of the challenge in a row. We're like, okay, we don't need to watch 41 right now. Binged it a few weeks ago. So good. So good.
Oh, maybe that's it. I was trying to watch it live, and I was like, I don't give a fuck, honestly.
No, that one needed to be binged.
Okay, 41, Vets and New Threats.
And the new people were good.
I definitely watched Spies, Lies, and Allies. I watched Ride or Dies, which was 38. I don't know. Oh, Emmanuel, I watched that one. Okay, I gave up at 40. I have no idea what happened on 40.
40 was good too. 41 also had like Ashley Mitchell back, who I love her so much. She's going to be on the new season of House of Villains, which I'm really excited for.
She was problematic, but as a person, she is not problematic. She's just, as a reality star, is problematic.
Yeah.
But also not, because she just stood up for herself and people hated that.
Exactly. Like in 41, Anisha was like, you're fat shaming me. She's like, I'm not fat shaming you, but for you to say you're in the best shape of your life and you're going to beat these 22-year-olds is delusional. She's like, I'm not going to beat them. And like, I'm in arguably better shape than you. And Anisha's like, you're fat shaming me. And it's like, no, girl.
No, I'm just saying.
We need to be realistic that maybe that the show that we've been on for 20 years, it's like a physical competition.
Oh my God.
That used to be like, I don't know, a pole wrestle was the most aggressive thing you did.
You would maybe bike up a hill.
Yeah, to now you're doing like a 3-day challenge where you're literally having to climb a mountain. Like you're like Expedition Everest up this.
No offense to Anissa, but she was never in the best shape of her life, even when she was 20. There was that one season that she like made it to the final and then was like walking up a hill because she couldn't fucking run or ride her bike. And she was like paired with someone. And I was like, oh my God, I think it was Mark. She was paired with Mark and she was just bringing him down. And I was like, I'm gonna fucking fight her, dude. She's never in the best shape of her life. Anissa, I love you. You will never win. I'm so sorry to tell you. You will never win.
Like, Nani too. Nani girl. You've gotten so close, but like.
That sucks, is Nani's always right there.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's never. Also, though, back to Ashley Mitchell. Shout out her for taking all the money that one season.
That's my favorite.
I hate when Johnny Bananas did it, but I loved when Ashley did it. I was like, rock on, girl.
He was
berating her.
Hunter was terrible to her. He literally was like, I'm going to go after that slut's family. And then when she was like, you said you were going to go after my family and called me a slut, he goes, I didn't call you a slut. He had no problem with the fact that he said he was going to go after her family, but he was like, I didn't call you a slut.
Get my wording right. No, he was a nightmare. Oh, I used to love the challenge. And then I started getting really into Real World and Road Rules just so I could know these people when coming in, because I hated, like, I think my first season on MTV was Real World Brooklyn. Okay. And then I like went straight into the challenge. And I was like, God, I hate not knowing these other people. And also, what the fuck is Road Rules? Which Road Rules is just the challenge. So those people arguably always do better.
I had watched like The Real World Austin, which was like Wes's original season on MTV.
Yes, I went back to watch that, and that was
I
incredible.
watched Real World Key West, which was Johnny Bananas
Incredible.
and Paula and Derek. I remember them having to evacuate their
Svetlana.
hotel. Svetlana, she was
Sveti.
quality entertainment.
Sveti.
No, I I love the Real World. I love the challenge. But I miss the old format, not gonna lie. I want them to get drunk and fight.
Okay, I want them to get drunk and fight. I miss when we would have big teams because I thought the strategy was different.
Mhm.
This pairs stuff, once in a blue moon, it's fun when that's how you like introduce new people. Like I think Fresh Meat was genius.
Yes.
But then like give me 3 teams of like 15 and let's see what happens. Cause then we gotta cut the fat. That's famous.
Yeah.
You got to cut the fat and figure that out. But also you don't want to be left with like just a good team because they might eliminate you at some point. Like it was strategically way better. And you want to hear how diseased my mind is? When you said Real World Key West, I was like, oh my God, I went to Key West recently and all I did was thinking about that season of Real World.
The house is on Airbnb.
I was like, I looked at it. That's how diseased I am. Which I couldn't afford it. Obviously, it was just me. But yeah, when I was there, I was like, so this is where they were partying. I get it. But also, I think Key West was it's like full of old people. So part of me was also like, I don't know how this would have gone. Because now I go to these cities, because as a kid, I was like, yeah, Portland, rock on. But now I go to these cities and I'm like, oh, I wonder what it would be like to be 20 years old on TV, just being paid to get drunk, basically. I could do it, maybe. You could do that anywhere, probably.
Yeah. Key West, too, because, like, I vacationed there a lot growing up.
Oh, yeah, you're from Florida.
Yeah, unfortunately. You know, you have your mix, because, like, it's a lot of older people, and it's a lot of just, like, old fishing dudes sitting in bars. But then, like, I've been there for a bachelorette party, and it was, like, a ton of young people out. And there's, like, also, like, Key West has a huge drag scene, so there's, like, a ton of drag clubs.
You're right. There could have been a ton of drag stuff.
That was 21 and up when I was 17.
Right on. You look older than you are. You basically, from the reality TV that you watched, aged at least 15 years.
100%.
Mentally, like, you're so mature. You know what's going to happen in these clubs.
Yeah. Who was watching What Not to Wear at 8 years old and being like, yeah, Stacey London, I really hate the way this woman dresses.
Oh my God.
I wanted someone in my life to put on that show because I was like, I don't need this. I dress well.
Yeah. 8, you're like, I'm better than this.
I'm like, Mom, can we put grandma on?
The best too was I would watch these shows and be like, that's so embarrassing that they're dressed like that. It obviously looks really bad. And I was like in Bermuda shorts and like a polo. And I was like, God, they're so ugly. They don't even know fashion.
Yeah, no, I was in Mary-Kate and Ashley's line from Walmart that I like forced my mother to buy me every single thing.
Yeah. Wait, okay. Speaking of fashion, we're also huge fans, or we grew up huge fans of America's Next Top Model.
My favorite.
Did this give you an eating disorder or body dysmorphia? Like it kind of did me, but I loved it.
Probably, because like I was also
everything gave me an eating disorder.
Yeah, but I would like watch it and be like, oh God, Takara, what is she doing? And it's like you look at her now and it's like Takara is in no way, shape, or form a plus-sized woman.
No.
Like
I'd be like, she gained 2 pounds. That's crazy.
Cassie, who was like a stick, and they were like she was like on Go Seas and they were like, yeah, she's just a little too thick. And I'm like looking at myself like,
this was the show. I remember watching this with one of my friends growing up because we would devour this show. I was like, I think I could be a model. And she goes, no, you can't. Your torso's too small. And I looked at her, I go, what are you talking about? And she was like, you have just like a really short torso compared to other people. So we like got in the mirror and she was like, this is where my torso is. And yours is way shorter. And she goes, and that's why your fat has like a, she was like, that's why your fat looks different than mine. Basically saying like, that's why I had more belly fat. And I looked at her and went, oh, thanks.
Okay.
Thank you for that. I actually didn't know until right now that was a thing that could be wrong with my body.
As a kid, I was like, I want to be a model because I was like obsessed with fashion and all that shit. And I think I was maybe like at most like 6 or 7. And my mom took me one of those like Barbizon modeling things. And they basically just told little me that I was too chunky. And I was like, oh, okay.
Like, but I'm a plus size model.
Yeah. I'm like, they don't have plus size kids models? Like,
that's crazy. No, this show was so good though. And you let me know there's a documentary coming out. I think by the time this airs, it will be out. It's like about the crazy shit they did. Because again, we didn't know it was problematic to change races on TV as
and
12
put him in a milk mustache.
Yeah, I had no idea at 12 that was a thing I should be concerned with. And as an adult rewatching that, I go, oh, I don't think that should happen. I don't think you should turn a black woman Asian for some reason. I think that's crazy.
Well, there's actually 2 coming out. There's the one on Netflix that Tyra is involved in. And then there's another one, I want to say it's on like Hulu or something else that she's not involved in that Janice Dickinson will actually be on.
Because they hate each other, don't they?
Yes. Because we're getting the one from like in the Netflix one that Tyra's on. She's gaslighting us. Like in the trailer, she's like, yeah, like we were doing bad stuff, but like you guys wanted more. And it was like, Tyra, I was 8. Like,
of course we did, Tyra. It was 2000 and there were only 5 channels we could watch. And this showed up.
I didn't ask for you to put Kaylin in a coffin 2 days after she found out her friend killed themselves. Like, yeah,
I actually, you had already filmed it. You were just putting it out, and I was a child. I didn't know better. Thanks, though, Tyra.
We weren't writing in. Like, if there wasn't social media then, I was just, like, tuning in.
Hey, can you make these girls more miserable somehow? Yeah. Love Alicia. Yeah, XO.
Like, can you stage one of them stealing the other one's protein bars and then Red Bull?
Can you have them get lost in Tokyo and then cry their eyes out when they can't speak the language? That'd be amazing, actually. No, Tyra, we actually didn't know better. No. I didn't even know you could write in, honestly. I didn't have internet access at this point. Thank you.
No, I was playing Paint on the computer. Like, that was the extent.
I was playing Paint. It was so good. No, okay, so it's like Fyre Fest, where you have one with Billy McFarland and one without Billy McFarland. Okay, I'm obviously gonna watch both. I hope they come out on the exact same day so I can binge.
No, they're within a few weeks of each other, but I'm gonna eat this shit up. I'm so excited. I haven't seen Jade, the undiscovered supermodel, in any previews yet, but that is because Cycle 6 is my favorite, like by far.
That was with Danielle and
Joni.
Yeah, Jody. Did that have Jade on it? No.
Yeah, Jade was Cycle 6. Ferranda, my dear, I know your skin is bumpy, but my skin is flawless, and you look really lumpy.
They had him do a rap battle.
It was Wild and Out.
Sometimes, oh my God, you're right. Sometimes I would watch these shows and be like, I could do that. And I remember watching the Wild and Out rap battle. I was like, I could not do that. I would be Jody, I think Jody actually did really good. I would be one of the other white girls that was like, yeah. Ferranda, I think fucking sucked that season. And I was like, oh.
I don't remember. That episode, though, specifically the Wild and Out episode, is one of the best because it starts off, the mini challenge is they're at Wild and Out and they're doing the question game. Everything Jade says is not a question. She just makes statements. And then the producers cut to her in the confessional and she's like, what? And they go, question. And then it's like the battle where she does like the Ferranda, my dear. And then you go into the best for your face challenge where they like had to sell the makeup. And it's Jade walking into a party and she says nothing and she walks upstairs. She just goes, party.
Yeah, you always love a problematic character on reality TV.
No, that was my favorite.
It's too good.
I actually met, because years ago, my store in the Upper East Side that I worked at, Leslie from Cycle 6, who was the one who had like the tattoo on her pelvis. She came in and I was like, are you finding everything okay? And then I was like,
did you identify her? Yeah, you do.
I go, are you Leslie from Cycle 6 of America's Next Top Model? And this is
You're so embarrassing. You're so embarrassing.
She was like, girl, what the fuck's wrong with you? Like, how do you know that? And I was like, it's my favorite cycle. I was watching it last week. What are you talking about? And then she stayed in the store.
Last week is so good. She's like, girl, I don't even know who I am anymore. I don't even know I'm Leslie from Cycle 6.
Yeah, we talked for like an hour and a half about reality TV. My first question is, was Jade really that crazy? And she was like, yeah, like in the house, all the girls hated Jade, but like I gave her the benefit of the doubt because I was like, okay, like we're on reality TV, like maybe she's just like, you know, hamming it up for the cameras. And she was like, but we both lived in New York afterwards, so I went and got like lunch with her a few times, and she really is that fucking crazy.
Do you think is she gonna be on the Janet Dickinson one, you think?
I don't know. I've never seen her come up, because like I try to like stalk her, obviously, randomly when she pops into my brain, which is often, and she's nowhere to be found on the internet.
Damn. Because, okay, Tyra's has the Jays, which I thought they both didn't really like her anymore, but I'm sure they need publicity somewhere because without the show. But then, yeah, Janice, sorry, I'm like short circuiting. She got into beef with Tyra because that's why she left the show and they brought in Twiggy.
And then Janice had her own show on E!
Oh my God, you're right. Because Janice really did love a fat shame. She really did love to call girls some fat
Janice
stuff.
Is the original supermodel.
She is.
So she claims.
I get it. Well, she would be like, you're fat. And then the girl would be like kind of horrified. And everyone would be like, but she's the original supermodel. So she can do it.
So she can say what she wants.
Oh my God. Also, though, I went to Amsterdam a few months ago and they were talking about Twiggy. I literally turned to my friend and I go, I know exactly who Twiggy is. And she's like, how do you know who Twiggy is? I go, America's Next Top Model. She was a judge. She showed up and was a really nice judge, which we weren't used to, but she did mod. Never
She was the original mod model.
With her short little haircut.
And the big eyes.
And the big eyes. She didn't want that haircut. I know. My friend was like, can you shut up and let the tour guide do his job? And I was like, absolutely not.
No.
They're leaving out the most important piece.
When they cut Cassandra's hair, and Tyra was like, I specifically asked for Mia Farrow from Rosemary's Baby.
I loved when they did makeovers. That was like, I needed at least 4 girls crying.
And now you have Molly from who's on Southern Charm, who had like one of the worst makeovers ever, because they gave her that awful weave that was literally coming off of her head, and like the sewn in, like you could see it right here.
Yeah.
And then I saw an interview of her. I think she was on like Watch What Happens Live or whatever. And in the finale, they like chopped it off to like literally right here was her hair. Andy was like, oh, did you do that just because you thought you were going to win? And she was like, yeah, I would not have cut my hair off. She's like, I'm going to win, then I can go get extensions. And then she lost.
Which is so sad. I know. She should have maybe won. I don't know. I didn't watch that season, but knowing Molly, I wish the best for her and her modeling career. Okay, wait, before we get into Bravo, let's go back to being 2 chunky kids. Remember Fat Camp?
Remember when you came over to my apartment earlier
last
year and we watched
for people who don't know, Fat Camp was on MTV. It was this one episode special that was like maybe an hour and a half. And it was about all of these fat kids that were forced to go to Fat Camp. Well, either they wanted to go to Fat Camp or their parents forced them to go to Fat Camp. And this show followed them around. This is like a literally, I don't know if it's real. If we hadn't watched it recently, I would be like, this wasn't real. Because I remember
it started off as a True Life episode.
Oh my God, you're right. Which True Life was also. That's how I found out about drug addiction and stuff.
Oh yeah, the guy who got calf implants.
It's so educational. But yes, okay, it was like, I'm going to Fat Camp or I'm a fat kid or something like that. And so then they made a full special about it because these kids were insane. They were all falling in love at Fat Camp. I don't know how Lainee and I discovered that we both watched this, but it's a fever dream. And then I went over to Lainee's and it was Lainee, me and her husband. And we were like, what do we do with our time? And I looked at Lainee. I was like, should we watch, like, see if we can find Fat Camp? And she was like, obviously, YouTube, it's all on YouTube. It's so grainy. You can't see anything, but it was so worth it because it was as good as I remember it, if not
even
better.
My favorite was it was all children and then that one woman in her 20s who sent herself there.
Yeah, because Weight Watchers like didn't work.
Yeah.
And first of all, not fat shaming, because when I watched this in 8th grade, I said, I want to go to Fat Camp.
I begged my mom. I was like, Mom, I think I would be one of the skinnier ones at Fat Camp. Like
I wasn't even
I will run Fat Camp.
Listen, I didn't even need Fat Camp because I wasn't that fat. I was just a little chunkier. You know, I wasn't a stick skinny girl, which in the 2000s, that's what you had to be. Yes. I was normal sized and athletic, but I was like, damn, if I go to Fat Camp, I'm skinny mini. I am top of the food chain because all these other fatsos
I was like,
have to bow down to me.
Like I could have my first kiss at Fat Camp because I would be like the queen of Fat Camp.
I was dating in 8th grade this really skinny guy, and I remember being really insecure, but I also wanted a boyfriend. So, like, you had to do what you had to do. I was really insecure because he was way skinnier than me. And I was like, if I go to fat camp, he'd be fatter than me.
Same. That was
or
me
I'd get like a
with-
fat guy to love me, and then I'd be the skinny one.
That was me. My like one boyfriend I had in 8th grade was for a week. He is now one of my best friends, and I went to his wedding for his husband.
Amazing. Amazing. And you're like, did you think I was fat when you were dating me, or did you think I was skinny?
And he's just like, girl, I was gay. Like,
because now, okay, for anyone who's like, oh my God, we are not fat shaming. We were not skinny kids. You can look up pics. You can look up the pics. However, we did not need to go to fat camp. Because some of these kids, their parents really were like, you must go to fat camp or else your doctor said you're going to die, basically. Yeah, poor Diane was forced to go to fat camp. She hated it. She was
miserable. Her mom was the nurse. And she would just go to her mom every day and cry hysterically.
I know. Her mom was straight up like, I'm trying to save your life. And Diane's like, I don't want to. I want to be. But she also didn't like being fat. Because remember when she fell and then she was like, Stop it. She was crying.
I love when people fall. I'm sorry. I still laugh at people falling.
She was crying and she was like, if I wasn't fat, this wouldn't have happened and it wouldn't have hurt. So she didn't want to be fat, but she did love food and she didn't like exercise. Which
she didn't.
They really made these kids exercise a lot and eat I would have lost 10 pounds just from not eating because that food was disgusting. They had a kid that was dealing in candy bars.
What was it, Petey?
They couldn't.
With his fedoras.
That
going around fat shaming girls because he had lost 10 pounds.
Okay, fuck Petey, because that kid was fat and he was fat shaming the other girls.
And he was just not cute. Like, he had a terrible haircut. He wore a fedora.
Which was awful. Like, fuck Petey. I'll stand on that business.
No, I hated Petey. When we watched it last year, the whole time
I got enraged. I straight up wanted to go to fat camp just to bully the fuck out of Petey.
Mm-hmm. And then the girl that he had that had broken up with him, and then he was going around fat shaming her and calling her a slut, got with like the best looking guy at fat camp.
Got with the hottest guy, the guy I would want at fat camp.
Exactly. I was like, oh, he looks like he would be a football player.
I would want him outside of fat camp. I was like, he would have been my type. But yeah, and she got with the best looking guy, and then Petey was like, please get back with me. And I was like, boy, you just spent 24 days fat shaming her.
Like, and you were so mean. Well, because Petey had come to fat camp like multiple years in a row. So Petey was like, I'm the king of fat camp.
He ran that place.
Yeah.
He was always gaining weight just to come back to fat camp. Which I get it. If you find a place that you run, make sure you can never leave.
I mean, if you've ever seen the movie Heavyweights with Ben Stiller, which is how I was first introduced to there's such thing as fat camp, the guy, Pat, in it, who was the counselor, had been going there for 20 years. That's why he ends up getting to run it in the end when Ben Stiller's father, played by older Ben Stiller, comes in and is like, I'm selling this because my son's a lunatic.
But like, I get it. At school, he probably wasn't top of the food chain. He gets to fat camp. He not only is top of the food chain, but he gets to bully other fatties. Oh, Petey was livid.
And now there's cameras. Like, Petey's like, I'm gonna be famous.
And he's mic'd up. He's one of the main people. Listen, hurt people hurt people. And Petey went in that fat camp to hurt other hurt people.
Petey was sad. And, Petey went back to school and that shit aired. And he was like, everyone's gonna be obsessed with me. Everyone's
gonna love my fedora.
Cool. And everyone's like, wait, Petey, not only are you annoying and no one at school likes you, but you're a dick.
Yeah. You're also really mean to people.
Yeah.
For no reason. Because Petey would just walk by someone and be like, what's up, fatty? And you'd be like, sir. Remember the counselor had to talk to him and be like, you can't bully other people for being fat. You're at fat camp. That's everyone's biggest insecurity, Petey. That's what, at least call people ugly or something. You straight up just go for their one thing they're here to better themselves on.
And then he tried to get with another girl and
she was like, you're fat. No, I'm just
They're all just like,
that didn't happen, but it should have. I would have had Petey fall in love with me just so I could call him fat to his face and then walk away.
Break his heart and his ankles during color war.
Oh my God. I felt really bad for Diane because remember when she didn't shower and she smelled and everyone was like, Diane, you smell. And then that one counselor got naked to be like, they're just bodies. I was like, what's happening?
I need to go see my mom.
It was a March day well spent. It was cold, and this is what we decided to do. And your husband had never seen Fat Camp before. So
No.
we introduced this to him because
As we
this was our
paused every
childhood.
5 minutes
Yeah,
to
because
talk.
we were cracking up. It was a great show. So anyone who's like, I don't remember this, I'm telling you, Fat Camp was the ultimate. Okay, but we have to go because not go, but we have to move
Switch.
topics to Bravo, because that's truly where we bonded and figured out that we have the same hobbies, which is just watching TV. Okay, what was the show that introduced you to Bravo? Or do you remember like discovering Bravo?
Yeah, it's not one that you would think. It was Queer Eye for the Straight Guy when I was 8 years old.
Oh, nice.
Because I've been OG obsessed with Carson Kressley. Like, I was watching Drag Race earlier this morning. So yeah, I was an OG Queer Eye for the Straight Guy girl. After that, Project Runway turned on, and I became a Project Runway fan. And then in 2006, I was, a little 6th grade girly, and I had already been.
Please identify your age as you watch Queer Eye and Project Runway.
I was 8 years old watching Queer Eye, being like, oh God,
you're like, gay men. Gay men are really where it's at. And then you found your first boyfriend, and you were like, at least he's gay. Thank God.
No. Listen, I've been obsessed with gay men since I was a small child. Like, my mom had a hairdresser who was a gay man. I was obsessed with him. He called me and my sister Paris and Nicole, or Mary Kate and Ashley, whichever he felt like when we walked into the salon.
Grew the love even more, honestly.
It really did. And then I'd meet Richard Hatch on Survivor, and I'm like, I'm obsessed with you. Queer Eye for the Straight Guy comes out. I go, this is my show. And then, I was watching not reality TV, but Desperate Housewives when that was airing when I was in 4th and 5th grade.
Yep.
And I'm watching Bravo at the same time, and there's this thing called Real Housewives starting. And so I was like, I'll watch that. So I've literally been watching Housewives since the very beginning,
came on.
Since the OG OC season. I remember watching that reunion in Vicky's backyard of them just like on stools.
I am not that deep. However, I have been getting deeper. I'm up to date on all that's happening. I just need to watch it because I'm the type of person that can't just jump in. I have to know the lore and the history. So I am actually working my way through the OC right now. I think I'm on season 11 or 12. It's a big ask, but this is what I watch. We also, you understand this, we would watch reality TV at work. And so I still do that.
Yeah.
And so that's how I'm getting through this, is through. So OC has been my work show, but man, is it a great show. I don't know what is in the water in the OC, but that is something else.
I don't love her, but Tammy Sue is what changed Housewives when she looked at Gretchen. Because before it was just like, it was their lives. It was watching Gina Kioff's kids like treat her like shit.
That it was just there. Because if you watch like the old seasons, it's just them like separately living lives and then occasionally grabbing like a lunch together.
Yeah. And then, Gretchen comes onto the scene and Tamara's jealous. Tamara looks at Gretchen and goes, did you go to Bass Lake? And that was like the first time that a housewife had come at another housewife, and it became like, this is going to be like a battle situation. And that's how the drama started. I really hope that Tamara is not on the next season of the OC, because she quit like 3 times this last season, and I'm like, give it up, Tammy Sue.
No,
just leave it alone.
How do you feel about Gretchen coming back?
It's fine. I like the conflict between her and Tamara, but she's already not on the next season. Yeah. And it's not like she got, like, I think she was just a friend of this last season. I don't want Slade Smiley on my television ever again.
I've had to deal with him since season 1. He is just a clout chaser at this point. And he was so degrading with Joe.
He was terrible.
His original housewife.
And then him and Joe got a TV show on Bravo, a dating show, where they picked out each other's partners.
Slade is so freaky, dude. And then he had the gall to come to one reunion and be like, I don't care about being on Housewives. And everyone was like, sir, you wish you were a woman to be on the show.
Him and Joe Gorga are the same. They both wish.
We can get into
that
Jersey.
They could be housewives.
Okay, because I do think we differ on our Jersey opinions a little. Are you team Teresa or team Melissa?
I'm a tree hugger till the day I die.
Oh my God, I'm like, blow them both up. I couldn't. Teresa drives me nuts, but you love a problem.
I
can
love a problematic
separate.
person.
Yeah, Teresa would drive me nuts. All I think about is if I met Teresa, she would drive me up a wall.
See, but that's the thing is there's people like Teresa, Ramona Singer.
I think I could do lunch with Ramona though.
No,
I mean, she's racist and terrible, but I think I could maybe.
Ramona's favorite restaurant was the Atlantic Grill on 77th and 3rd, and I worked on 76th and 3rd at a boutique. And my biggest fear every day was Ramona Singer walking in and terrorizing me. And this one hostess told me, she came in and I was like, she was like working at the Atlantic Grill and we were talking and I go, oh, do you ever deal with Ramona? She's like, yeah, I didn't know who she was. And she called the restaurant. She's like, hi, I need a reservation for 6 tonight at 7. And they were like, yeah, no, we can't do that. She goes, do you know who I am? And she was like, no. She's like, I'm Ramona Mazur, singer. And she was like, I still don't know who you are. And she's like, give me your manager. And Ramona's got a table. But she was like, no, she's literally awful.
Oh my God.
But like Teresa and Ramona, I want them on my TV. I don't want them anywhere near me.
No.
The only housewife that I've had a run-in with is Kelly Bensimon twice. We did not speak to one another, but she was by our old office. I walked outside, full-length white fur coat, little tiny dog. She's right there, you know, living in New York. I've seen a lot of celebrities. I walked past Susan Sarandon a few months ago. I was gagged. I was gooped. But seeing Kelly Bensimon in the flesh, I was like, there she is. And then a few months ago, we're on our way to a doctor's appointment, and her and I sat on the same train across from each other for like 15 minutes.
Train?
She does. She was on the 6th train with me. She got off at 59th Street. I got off at 68th. And I sat there and I was just like, she fully clocked me, like checking, like staring at her like every 2 seconds. And I was texting my friend Dylan about it. He goes, she probably thinks you're Ali Shapiro. Like, that's why this girl's staring at me. And I just wanted to be like, do you still run in the streets, Kelly?
Oh, that's just so good. The thing about New York is you could just run in the street. Every piece of traffic is like, get out of the street. That poor taxi cab.
There's no one I hate more than people that walk. Even the bikers, like there is a bike lane, ride in the bike lane, get out of the road. We have a car, so like we drive in the city all the time. Mm-hmm. I hate them all. I hate every pedestrian.
But like, I also, hate the bikers. I hate when bikers are on the sidewalk as a pedestrian. You're gonna fucking kill me, okay? Cut it out. So Kelly Bensimon is like, which also, I knew her husband because he was on Top Model.
Exactly.
Which was crazy. Okay, so what would you say is your favorite housewife franchise?
New York, all the way. I'm never not watching
OG.
Yeah. Oh, screw the new cast. I'm never not watching OG Roni. It's something I always, because I need the TV on in the background basically at all times.
Of all times, yeah.
Yeah. And so it's always just New York going on in the background. Jacob, my husband, he is almost caught up on Jersey. He's been going on his Jersey journey. Mm. So he's watched from season 1. We're on like season 13 right now. Rachel Fuda and Danielle Cabral's first season.
Oh, nice.
And once we get through that, he is like, okay, like I'll finish Vanderpump Rules because he hadn't finished that. And then he's going to start Roni from the beginning because he needs more context because this is always on in our home.
And he just walks in at Dorinda being like, I cleaned, I cooked.
I mean,
he's like, nice. What happened? Yeah, I found out recently your favorite's Dorinda, which someone at your baby shower was like, because for those who don't know, Lainee's so obsessed with reality TV and like pop culture. She made us all take a quiz at her baby shower about her, not about the baby. And it was a bunch of pop culture questions of what Lainee prefers. Yeah, her favorite housewife is Dorinda Medley, which someone then was like, Dorinda's crazy. And Lainee's like, yeah, and that's why I like her.
Like, I don't want someone sane. I think you're crazy if Kyle Richards is your favorite. Like,
oh, disgusting. Oh
no, I can't stand her.
Die immediately. Okay, so you like Roni. We've talked a little Jersey. I quote Jersey all the time for no reason other than who threw my husband in the pool? My husband.
My husband.
Like when people say my husband, I just go, my husband.
I literally call my friend on his birthday every year and I go, first you were one, then you count. Two.
That?
And I just do Melania.
Remember when that made oh, no, not that
It
song,
was Waking Up in the Morning.
Waking Up in the Morning came in and COVID. And I remember being like, wait, what the fuck? Why do I know this? Because I would dabble in Housewives, and that was something I had dabbled in, and I was like, why do I know what this is from? And then I was like, oh my God, it's Jersey. I gotta watch Jersey from beginning to end. I must see every single minute of this show. I'm so happy Jacob is on that journey. That journey is incredible.
No, it's one of my favorites. It's a really easy one if you're trying to get people into the Housewives world. It is a very easy one to get people in with, because everyone has a family. Everyone has family drama. That's what Jersey, the first couple seasons especially,
and that's, I think, what made it better
drama.
Was the mafia feeling of like, you don't fuck with my family.
Me and my family, we are as thick as thieves.
It was also crazy because you had, first season, you had the sisters and then the sister-in-law in Caroline, Dina, and Jacqueline. And then Teresa was there, and Teresa and Jacqueline became friends, but everyone else was, and like Dina too, but some people were a little iffy on Teresa at first because then like Danielle Stubb was there. I loved when Caroline would be like, Jacqueline, you got to choose, because her and Teresa were beefing. And Jacqueline's like, I can't go against the family. And her husband, who was actually related, was like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, Chris Loretta couldn't give a shit because he was best friends with Joe Giudice.
Which, who didn't want to be, you know? Joe Giudice was... Juicy Joe is just something. Him and Melania were my favorite side characters.
I still, to this day, love them.
And Rosie.
I loved Rosie. And Rosie and Joe together were so entertaining, and then you throw little Melania in the mix.
Honestly, bring back Kathy just so we could get more Rosie. I didn't hate Kathy.
I don't even need Kathy.
I didn't hate Kathy. I thought she was a good, like, B character, you know, that just kind of, like, facilitated other drama, and then would bring Rosie. And I was like, well, that's what we... Because also Richie was crazy.
I was going to say, she brought Richie, and aka Jeff Goldblum. Richie's hilarious.
They look identical.
No,
Watching
they're literal
the Wicked
twins.
movie, and I'm like, but why is that Richie?
Why is Richie here?
Why is Richie the wizard? Honestly, bring back Kathy just to bring back her family, because her kids were also kind of strange, and I loved every second of it.
I mean, Victoria wasn't entertaining; she was bland.
But little Richie,
little Joey,
or little Joe, what was the kid's name?
Joseph. Yeah, Joseph Wakili. He was entertaining when him and Rosie took like his dad's Ferrari.
Yeah, and honestly, fun to see Joe Gorga with Richie, because those two idiots.
Yeah.
Loved every second of it. And then Rosie with Joe Giudice. And then those were my pairs. Throw Melania in, calling her dad a troll. That's a house of women. That's what it's like to be running a house of women.
1000%. My favorite is Joe Giudice hungover as fuck on the couch, just like with his camera up like this, filming them on Christmas morning.
Because Teresa's
not
like,
participating.
Joe, get this, get it. And he's like, Joe is a dad. He is a 21st century dad. And I loved every second of it. I also loved when they would make them do the, like a Thanksgiving 5K or whatever.
Oh my God,
and Joe would cut up the salami. Meats. It was like 3 a.m. and he's cutting up salami and he's like, I got the meats. And they would eat the meat and then run. And Joe is always kind of the last one, but he had his meats. So everyone had to wait for him. Or he'd bring cheese sometimes. Like, he was just... I miss him so much.
You know, my favorite Bravo moment of all time, and people are like, it's disgusting. How dare could he speak about his wife like that? Is when they're at the vineyard for Caroline's birthday, and Joe's on the phone with his mistress, and he's moaning, and then he's like, oh, here she comes, my bitch wife. She's such a cunt. And she's like, Joe, who are you talking to? And he's like, one of my worker guys starts speaking Spanish, and she's like, Joe, let's fuck in the vineyard.
Oh, I know you love that. Listen, I know it's a kind of disgusting moment, but that is so funny.
So funny. It's even funnier because when you binge, because we've obviously been watching Jersey, every time they talk about Joe being bad to Teresa, that's the clip that they play.
The clip, which is... It's just bad because then as viewers, all I do is laugh and go, I get it though. I get it, because he's trying to talk to his mistress and he's like, here comes my bitch wife. She's such a cunt. And you hear Teresa, Joe! He's just like, oh no. And the camera isn't even getting them, which is the funniest part. It's getting the table of Teresa getting up to go bother her husband, which, like, she's not, I get it. He was cheating on her. That's wrong.
Yeah.
But in this scenario, Teresa could not have bothered Joe more.
No. He literally like gets on the phone. He's like, "Oh, don't do that to me." He's like moaning on the phone, and then Teresa's just like,
Mike
"Joe."
Which was always because you brought up Christmas when she's like, Joe, get the kids, get this on camera. And he is so hungover. And he's like, oh my God. And he's thinking, this is why I have a mistress. This is why Teresa's driving him up a wall.
You can tell how much wine Joe drank by how skinny he was after he got out of jail and then ICE custody.
Yeah, that man was always drinking.
Oh my God. And it was amazing. He made his own wine.
He was incredible. One of the dumbest men I have ever seen on my TV.
And he'd always be like, I'm really smart.
Yeah, he is so fun. It was always so funny though, because not only did he have to deal with Teresa, and I know Melania has to be one of his favorite daughters.
Oh, that's by far his favorite daughter.
Oh my God, the way Melania treated her dad. If Melania was awake that day, Joe Giudice never had peace.
But they terrorize each other because Joe, like, Melania, you're fat. She's like, you're fat.
She like looked straight at him and be like, are you kidding? It was like Petey calling someone fat. And Melania, are you kidding? Have you looked at yourself, you ugly troll?
He never let that man have a moment of peace.
No, he could be asleep. Melania terrorizes his
torturing
dreams.
him. God, I love her. She turned 20 the other day. I can't believe it.
Oh my God. I wish she was still a terror. I wish she was still on my screen. Listen, I get it. I don't think the kids should be that involved in this bullshit. I don't like it that much. And now they're all sitting around and they're like, oh, we hate Melissa and Joe. And I'm like, stop being mature and start being annoying again.
Yeah, be little shits. But I do appreciate them calling out Melissa and Joe.
Oh,
like
we
Melissa
differ,
being like,
we differ.
Antonia would never say anything.
No.
And it's like, okay, but yeah, Teresa would never comment on their kids' depression issues like you would. Like,
we differ. I think you should keep the kids out of it. Because then now, and I know it's just for the show, but now they're all together again. And now these girls have spent years hating Melissa and Joe. They all of a sudden have to like get over that because their parents are cool with them.
It's not Teresa's fault that they don't like Melissa and Joe. Like, I'm on the season where Melissa and Joe are on their podcast talking about we're the reason they had food on their table when Teresa was in prison. Like, and the girls were older at that point. Like, Gia's in college. Gabriella's about to go off to college. Melania's like 16. And they're actively talking about this stuff, talking shit on their dad, which is like, I don't know if you've never spent 2 seconds watching Melania.
If you talk shit on the dad, then fine.
And like being like, we put food on their table. Like, those girls are all, Gabriella and Adriana not as much, but like Melania and Gia are mini Teresa. They're gonna be like, oh, you want to talk shit about my family on your podcast? I'm going to go on national TV and talk shit about you.
Okay.
If they didn't want the family drama, why are they talking about it on the podcast? Carlos King confirmed that Teresa did not know Melissa and Joe were going on that show. She had no idea that they were coming on. But that's why do you think Joe Gorga had that flip out at little Joey's christening? Because he saw his big sister flip a table, go viral, and become a star. And little Joey Gorga, bitch boy Joey Gorga, was like, well, I want to be a star. He's the reason that there was a fight at his son's christening. Like, that was his fault.
Right,
and then they blamed Teresa and Joe. You stole my father. Like, he wants to blame, but it's like, you didn't need to pound the fucking table. You could have just been like, oh, hi. You wanted to cause drama. You wanted to lock in your spot on the show. So you threw a fucking fit. Because you want to be a housewife. And now Joe calls himself a motivational speaker and a stand-up comedian. All he's ever sought was fame, and more fame. And that's why they're going to go on their podcast and talk shit about Teresa. Because they just want to be the center of attention. I mean, Melissa is selling the whole thing about the sprinkle cookies happened. Season 3, they're at season 14, and there's been gaps, obviously, when Tree went to jail, and like we haven't gotten a new season in a while. Melissa's selling sprinkle cookies now.
Right on, get your bag, girl.
All they want is fame, and more fame, and they don't care about throwing Teresa under the bus.
I don't think that's totally true. We're gonna differ because I honestly light both their houses on fire. All their houses on fire.
I can admit Teresa's fucking nuts. Teresa is crazy. Teresa has moments of delusion. That's why I like her on my TV. Melissa, you know, I agree
She
with
is
Jen
more
Aiden.
boring. She is more boring.
Melissa doesn't have a storyline.
But I hate
Like Melissa wasn't
You
going to
and I
have
are
another
done.
kid. Melissa needed a storyline. Melissa doesn't have another sister out there. Melissa needed a
No.
storyline.
And maybe
She
that's
just
why I
makes up
also hate
storylines.
Teresa, and I have to then be on like the Marge Melissa team because I hate Jen Aiden. I've hated Jen Aiden since the day she showed up on my fucking TV. I hate her. I can't differentiate these people. I can't do it. I can't just have crazy.
I didn't love Jen at first, but I love Jen's crazy.
No.
Jen is who she is. She's so funny, and she does not give a shit about what she says. Like, Jen is not calculated in how she speaks about the people on the show the way Melissa and Marge are.
No, she's just terrible.
Yeah,
she says
but that's what you want.
No, not when you're that terrible.
No, I think she's so
we're on
entertaining.
opposite sides of Jersey. We're just gonna have to fucking deal with it, I guess.
No, we're never gonna agree.
Just know if we were at those tables, remember how they had to watch the finale separately? I gotta go in Teresa and Marge's. Melissa and Marge's room. I'm in that one.
Yeah, no, keep me away from Melissa Gorga. I hate when she calls herself Missy G. I just,
that's
I
rough.
can't. The best thing Melissa Gorga ever did was wear that pink sequined halter net top in her confessionals her first season. Other than that, get her out of.
No, you can keep her because of the company she keeps. Anywhere Dolores is truly is where I am. She is my favorite. I love my Dolo.
I love Dolo, but I also do have the mixed feelings about her because of the letter that she wrote in favor of Tommy Manzo.
Oh, you're right. Yep. Yeah. I always forget about that.
Like,
I get so caught up in how much I love Dolores and Frank Catania and their whole family, little Frankie. I love all that.
Love little Frankie.
I forget that Dolores actually sucks as like a person.
Yeah. Like, I forget. That was just not a good moment in time.
No,
and I ride for Dina Manzo hard. I still follow Lexi Manzo on Instagram.
Lexi Manzo was such a loser when she first started, and now she's so cool.
No, she's so gorgeous. She has a shoe line called New, spelled N-O-U, because she loves vintage shoes, so she created her own shoe line. Yeah, they're really cute, actually.
Have you bought anything?
No, because I have a wide foot, and they're definitely not for that. And their heels, I don't bust a heel.
Oh man, that's awesome. I do want to get your opinions on new seasons currently airing. The new Vanderpump Rules.
I'm gonna watch it. I watch it every week. I'm not entertained. To me, it's just television to have on in the background, and I'll watch it this one season that they have it on, and it's gonna get canceled.
Do you ever compare it to Southern Hospitality? Because I do. I slept on Southern Hospitality. I came in season 2.
No.
And you were the one that was like, it's incredible. You have to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
But did I forget? Because then I binged 2 seasons of it. Was season 1 of Southern Hospitality better than this new Vanderpump Rules?
Yes, because I, as you know, am unemployed right now and have had television on in the background 24/7. And I was like, let me just throw on Southern Hospitality seasons 1 through 3, even though I've watched them live. And season 1 was really good. It was actually entertaining. Grace Lily got me.
Yeah, Grace Lily
Wavy baby. I'm obsessed with her. It was good. The drama was authentic. And it's because these people were actually a part of a friend group. And that's what made the OG Vanderpump Rules great. But these new people, they're all plants. The incestuous cousins.
The kissing cousins.
Yeah, they're plants. Angelica is a plant. The Shane dude who got shot 3 times is a plant.
I only like it because Meredith and I now have bits from how often we have to talk about the show. Shane has become a really great bit. Shane's a really good bit because we don't know how he got shot, and he has just explained it as when he first explained it, he was like, oh, I got shot. I was going to model and then I got shot by my best friend. And then as he slowly has explained it, he's told us that his best friend shot him 3 times, closed his eye, or actually, I think we made that up. But shot him.
They got into a fight and his friend accidentally shot him, I think is what it was.
But it sound when he first said it, Meredith and I were we don't understand. So we built a whole story about Shane getting shot. I was because he appeared as this white man, right? I was he probably got shot in the Bath and Body Works parking lot. Meredith thought it was a rival gang. I was like, a gang at the Bath and Body Works parking lot, like a model gang? What are they mad about Shane for? We're like, why do they have guns if it's, I don't know, the middle of suburbia, which we now know he grew up in a trailer park around drugs. So now it makes more sense. But then it was like, and then how did your best friend shoot you? We're like, he had to have closed his eyes and just kind of shot around. And then we were like, did the best friend go to jail? Did Shane have to testify against his best friend? So Shane has become one of my favorite bits because every little bit of his life I get, we add a fanfic chapter.
Yeah. But that's how boring the show is that you're having to do that.
That's a good point. You know,
that is how objectively boring this show is. Like,
that we've made up our own story that makes it better.
Marcus and Natalie, I could give two fucks about their on again, off again relationship.
No, nope, that's not Kim. Even, Marcus and Kim. Oh, Natalie's Kim, the other girl.
See? Like, it's not interesting at all. Like, this is never going to be a show that I go back and rewatch.
Fair. Okay. Did you catch up on Summer House so far?
Oh, yeah, of course. I watched that first thing Wednesday morning.
What do you think?
I'm just really glad that Amanda and Kyle announced their divorce before this, because I really didn't want to have to sit through another episode or season or whatever and just be like, why the fuck are these two together? Like, you genuinely hate each other. Like, this man, like, he is just such trash. You are 43 years old, sir. Why are you trying to be on the keg stand the longest? Like, that's not cute. You're not cool. That's just sad. And, like, we have had to see his blurred out tiny little dick basically every single season of this fucking show. But Amanda gets in the pool in underwear and a bra. Yeah, the bra's mesh and you can see her nips, but she also wears like shirts like that all the time. And he wants to throw a bitch fit.
You're right. You're right.
Like, annoying. I don't feel bad for her for being in this relationship, because you actively married someone who, when you were engaged to, he was like, you should be happy with me. Like, I haven't flirted with someone in 3 months. And he's like, we've been together for years. Like, what do you mean you haven't flirted with someone in months? I'm glad. I don't feel bad for her because, like, you know, you decided to marry that man.
This relationship. Yeah, we've already gotten over it.
But, you know, I am excited. I'm excited to see it just fully break apart.
Are you rooting for Sierra and Wes the way I am shipping the hell out of them?
I think so.
I don't think you're as in love with Wes as I am.
No, because Wes would have been the guy in college who is like nice, who would have fat shamed us, but also like would have fat shamed and kind of would have been a dick. But like now that he's out of college and he's like, but he's also shorter, so like it could go one of two ways, where he's like a short asshole, or he's like a nice guy that like called all of his girlfriends, like all of his best friends that were girls, gorgeous. Like, it's hard to tell where he is there. Yeah. So I'm like, I'm not like, he's good. He's a good guy on the show. I think he's a good guy
off the show too. But I do think, Sierra can do better. But they have such chemistry that I can't ignore it. I can't ignore it.
He breaks her walls down. Like, she is like very goofy with him, which I really like. But I also saw her interviewing Jacob Elordi on a red carpet the other night, and he looked at her some type of way, and I was like, girl.
Oh, tea.
That man also has a Bottega campaign. Get with him. Like,
woo, tea. Man, how bad would Wes feel if she started dating Jacob Elordi? He'd be like, well, I already knew I fumbled the bag, but I really fumbled the bag, because she would have stuck with him. If he had just committed, they could have still been dating at this point.
They would be the new Summer House, because what they're definitely doing this season, I've seen a lot of people talk about it online, is the premiere episode of this felt very similar how it was cut to the premiere of the last season of Vanderpump with the OG cast, where they're going to split this off into the city. Yeah. And then Sierra, Wes, and Jesse Solomon will still remain on Summer House with the new people, and they will slowly migrate over to the city, because Bravo doesn't want to lose a franchise, so they're not just going to stop Summer House, and it's a good show.
Summer House is a show, though, that you can filter in and out. Like, you honestly have not needed Kyle or Carl or Amanda this long.
No.
You could have filtered them. Honestly, they could have done like maybe 2 seasons overlapping with the Paige and Hannah it all. And then you filter in Sierra and Luke for a little bit. They don't know how to handle like new, specifically people of color coming in.
No,
They
they really
always
don't.
fumble the bag on that for some reason. But I'm pro get rid of these other old people who don't go out and don't party and don't hook up because they're all sober or in relationships or whatever, and get me these new messy. Honestly, I think the new people that they have in is too old. They're like, yeah, I'm 30. And I was like, where are the 24-year-olds?
That's what you want. Because,
What I
like,
want.
especially with, like, the younger, I mean, I'm only 32, but, like, with the kids in their, like, early, people are not drinking as much. So you want people that are younger.
Yeah.
And are, drinking is exciting. I turned 21 a few years ago. I moved to this city recently. Like, you want people who have very recently moved to New York, because that's when, and I know you moved here like post-COVID,
but still
pre-COVID, like, that's when you're partying like the most, is when you first moved to New York, because you're like, I don't know how long I'm gonna be here. I have to soak up every moment of it and go out all the time.
Yeah.
That's what I want. I want messy young people on my television.
I think 26 is a sweet spot, because sure, 23, 24, that was like Lexi, and we didn't really like Lexi, but I also think they screwed her the way she came in. They didn't give her any girls to hang out with. All she had was Jesse. I think her situation was different. But I think if you introduce some 26-year-olds to then bridge the gap between the 30-year-olds, and then you could bring in some 24-year-olds. But this is like real world. You can filter in and out. Yes. I don't care who's on my screen as long as they're getting drunk and hooking up.
Yeah.
That's fine. Vanderpump Rules is a very different show where you can't just recast it, because we're following their lives. In Summer House, I don't have to follow their lives, honestly. I just need to see them. Season 1 was great because all they did was ride the train into the Hamptons, get belligerent, and then leave. And I was like, lovely. I don't even care.
I want people who don't have cars.
Oh, amazing.
I want you taking the jitney.
I want them poor.
Want you to taking the railroad.
Poor.
I want them like genuinely struggling. I don't want you to have an ad campaign.
I want Carl, season 1, losing his job, but still being like, I'm going to blow $100 a day on alcohol alone.
Yeah.
But not having a job. Like, I need these people to not, and I know like a lot of places like Jesse Solomon lost his job because of Summer House.
So did Paige and Hannah.
Paige and Hannah did. But I need these people to be like remember when Danielle would come in like late Friday night because she had to work, so she had to take the train? That was awesome, because then the next day she was like, are we not drinking at 9 a.m.? And I was like, this is real shit. We don't get to just drink on Tuesdays at noon all the time, okay? We want the people that are trapped in corporate America to then let off steam. Great. No. I love it. Okay, I have to ask one more. Southern Charm, because Meredith and I don't discuss Southern Charm, so.
Love Southern Charm. That's another one I've been watching since the beginning.
Okay, which that was a show, let me tell you. Okay, this new season, any thoughts? You like it? You love it? You hate it? What's going on?
I think it's good. Like, I'm always going to watch Southern Charm because I've been on it since the beginning. But, like, I miss Catherine on my TV. She's my favorite. My messy queen. It's good. You know, Craig and Austin really are the heated rivalry of Bravo. I don't love Austin, but I hate Craig.
There you go. That's where I am. In the list of problematic men I hate, Craig beats Austin. I'm Team Austin, I guess.
And you know what? I used to like Craig. When Craig was like this broke little dude from Delaware, and he was just like, you know, Shep's little bitch, basically. Like, that was entertaining watching Craig stand up for himself when they would make fun of Craig, like, Craig, you're trying to operate a grill. You know, you feel a little bit bad for Craig in his early seasons.
Sure.
He's a mess, but he is just such a pretentious asshole. The Sally of it all. Get this girl. This is her 4th try of a reality television show.
Oh my God. Also, Sally literally was such a... Craig could have been like, I really like girls who chop off their hair and then dye what's left blue. And she would have been like, haha, it's me. Like, and he doesn't even like her. He didn't even like her. If you're at his hot tub, you're in his hot tub twice past 2 a.m. and he still hasn't kissed you, he doesn't like you, girl.
No,
don't buy the chickens. Don't buy the chickens.
She didn't really like him. She wanted the fame that comes with. That's what she wanted. Like, she was on The Bachelor. She was on Bachelor in Paradise. She tried a season of Southern Hospitality. Now she's on Southern Charm. And those 3 shows did not work for her. This is the first time she's gotten like a second season of anything. And so she's like, how do I latch on? Craig's single. Craig has a ton of like publicity from the Paige breakup. Let me try to latch myself onto Craig. When in reality, as you can tell, she wanted to fuck Austin this entire time.
This whole time.
But Craig was the available one.
Poor Austin's ex-girlfriend, Audrey, who has to
Oh my
watch this
God.
back. My God, he's
I feel
terrible.
terrible for her.
I know.
I can't stand Sally. Get rid of those fucking chickens, which like I'm pretty sure I've seen that she's gotten rid of. Like, you don't like them anyways.
Okay, I must ask, because this is my internal debate every time I watch the show. Charlie was asked out by both Craig and Whitner, and she said yes to Craig, no to Whitner, when Whitner seems like the better choice. Am I crazy? Because people are like, oh, the Southern Charm cast will say that, like, Whitner's not who we think he is. And I'm like, Craig is exactly who I know, and I'd still kind of pick Whitner. I'm going to go with the devil I don't know at this point.
Yeah, like,
right?
There has to be... I'm Team Whitner. There has to be something wrong with this man based off, like, the relationship with his ex, and we just, like, may not find out, you know.
People can grow. People can grow, though. People
can grow. His mom seems really great.
He's close with his family.
He's close with his family.
Mom. He's actually a lawyer.
He doesn't seem like a misogynist at all.
He's currently going out and protesting against ICE, which tells you what you got to know right there.
Things that, you know,
I don't know where Craig's been. I don't know where Craig's been, but I did see that Sierra kind of confirmed that Craig was MAGA, so we'll just leave that there.
I mean, Craig thinks the earth is flat, so yeah, he's MAGA.
He was crazy. Dude, I don't know how Paige dated him when he was like, oh, the aliens are coming, so we all have to wear tinfoil hat. I would straight up right there be like, I think we're breaking up.
I lost a lot of respect for her for ever getting with him. I thought that the beginning of their relationship was fully a PR move, and I stand by that.
You were always so against it. I was kind of pro it. I remember us talking about this. But then it got to the point where I was like, wait, Craig is so annoying. How is Paige dating him?
Like the way he acted in Winter House and she was still with him after that.
Oh, after he's like, I don't clean. I pay people to clean.
Like,
I'll pay for people to clean. Like, I would have broken up with him right there.
Craig, you couldn't pass the bar. You've never been a lawyer. You lied for years.
Also, keep in mind, all these women come in and out of Southern Charm and you hit on them and they want nothing to do with you. Catherine picked an old, saggy, disgusting man over you. Yep. Okay. I'm sure you tried to get with Cameron. That didn't happen. No. All these girls come in and none of them want anything to do with you. You only got Naomi because she knew you before the show and then she saw you on the show and went, this is fucking terrible. And you dated that girl in COVID who also dumped you. So I don't know what we're doing here.
Every woman he has ever gotten into a relationship with ends up hating him at some point in the relationship because he sucks so bad.
Honestly, if I was Paige and then I met Naomi, the way I would have been like, listen, I know I'm dating him, but can you like let me know what happened? Do you actually want to be friends with him again or do you just want to get on the show? Because like either way I respect it. I just have to know.
Yeah, like just let me know because Craig is just not a good person, and him being on this TV show for so long and his fucking stupid ass
made him worse.
Being a thing like has made him an even worse human being.
You know, I went to Sewing Down South. And I was looking, this was summer of 2024, so it was a while ago. He was dating Paige. I walked in, Craig obviously wasn't there. I was so happy to be there though, because I was like, bravo. And I was looking for the Paige collection, because if there was anything from the Paige collection, that's what I was going to buy. And there was nothing in that store from the Paige collection, because it was all online, because I'm sure no one in Charleston wants the Paige collection, because it was all black and snakes and everything. And I literally was like, do I buy something just to say I have it? So I bought a shirt and I lost it. I have no idea where this fucking shirt is. I've never promoted him a day in my life.
2 Bravo businesses you will never catch me dead walking into or supporting are Craig Conover's Sewing Down South and Envy by Melissa Gorga. My friend was like, friend that lives on Long Island, she's like, oh my God, they're opening an Envy location on Long Island. And I was like, I'll sit in the parking lot, but I am not going in there. I am not giving Melissa Gorga any of my business.
Oh my God, that is so funny. But yeah, I don't know. This season of Southern Charm is fine. I think Southern Charm has done a really good job of filtering in people.
It has.
The way Vanderpump Rules like just couldn't master and like figure out how to do. I will say, at what point are we going to get rid of Shep and Craig? Like, doesn't it get embarrassing? Like, it's kind of the Kyle Richards of it all. Like, is it not embarrassing that this is the only thing you've done for 10 plus years?
I mean, Shep has literally no storyline this season. His entire storyline is that he's dealing with the Austin and Craig fight. And that's all that he does. We have no idea. I mean, thank God we don't have to watch him, like, be obsessed with a 26-year-old Who Lives in the Islands again, because if I had to watch that, like, the people buying the text message cup, I don't want to hear that text message read out loud by Shep ever again. I don't need it. It makes me physically uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Not a fan. He, to quote Bethany Frankel, go to sleep. Like, which she should also take that advice herself and get off TikTok. But
there you go. There you go. Well, Lainee, it has been such a pleasure. We could talk for literally 7 hours, and maybe I'll have you back if I need another person to step in for some reason. Thank you so much for joining. This was so fun. And with that, love ya. Bye.